The debt trap diplomacy that China unleashed upon smaller neighbors such as Sri Lanka and Pakistan has now evolved into a full-blown catastrophe.
China is like one of those fintech companies which lend to those who can't pay. The only difference is, unlike the fintech companies, instead of individuals, China does it to nations. Several countries in South Asia are struggling to repay China's loans lent at exorbitant rates or on tough terms. Countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan have suffered the worst consequences of accepting Chinese loans. While it is common knowledge that China lends money with clear intentions of taking over important projects like ports, mines, and other strategic infrastructure in countries it lends money to, so far the world hasn't been able to offer smaller countries a better alternative. China has been known to use underhanded methods like bribing local politicians to ensure that countries end up taking loans from China on its terms rather than going to global lending institutions like IMF or World Bank. Consider Pakistan, for example. China has made a $62 billion investment in Pakistan so far, with most of the money going to CPEC. The sum, which amounts to 30% of Pakistan's overall external loans, has put Pakistan's economy under serious pressure. Then there's Sri Lanka, which owes $7 billion or 20% of its overall external debt to China. The debt load on Sri Lanka has risen over time, and China has offered the nation with restructuring, haircuts, etc. on a regular basis to keep its hold over Sri Lanka going. Bangladesh has also been lured by China's promise of cheap money. So far, China has lent a total of $1.5 trillion to economically weaker nations, including several countries in Africa and South America. Calling out China's opportunistic behavior on international forums has become necessary. European Foundation for South Asian Studies Director Junaid Qureshi at UNHRC on March 22nd raised the worsening debt trap situation going on in countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan.
Rights. The increasing Chinese involvement in South Asia in recent years has borne the hallmarks of strategic, economic and political opportunism characterized by violent aggression in pursuit of expansionist designs along its borders with countries such as Bhutan and India, and deliberate transgression into the economic and sovereign space of vulnerable nations such as Sri Lanka, Pakistan and the Maldives. In the past year, the debilitating impact of this Chinese strategy has been exposed a few times. The debt trap diplomacy that China unleashed upon smaller neighbors such as Sri Lanka and Pakistan has now evolved into a full-blown catastrophe, the magnitude of which has rightly led to considerable international focus. While the plight of the people of recognized country does find expression in the media, the disputed territory of Gilgit-Baltistan in the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, my homeland, has been less fortunate. The people of Gilgit-Baltistan continue to suffer silently as they have had no say, while China's exploitation in active partnership with a subservient Pakistan of their economic and natural resources through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has gone virtually unnoticed. The stifling of all contrarian voices by the Pakistani military establishment has also contributed to this predicament. Mr. President, in the absence of other voices to speak for them, the plight of the people of Gilgit-Baltistan deserves the close attention of this August Council, as does China's utter disregard for human rights.
While China's predatory lending practices are no secret, it is necessary to keep reminding smaller nations that taking loans from China is highly unlikely to be a solution to their economic problems.